Hey, what's up, guys? We are back for game number 2. It is Anaris, and who else is here?
Cricket.
Cricket! Cool. Alright, so last game we watched Bulletproof eat a giant cupcake, like 3 feet long. It was huge. So, what do
So
you
he's
think we're going
doing
to see
pretty
this
good.
time?
Well, he's obviously on a sugar high after that huge cupcake.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with like maybe 4 gate, no cyber core pressure, maybe proxy. That's what you do if you ate some of that many cupcakes. Or is that what you do in ours? Is that what happens when you
What I
ladder and you eat
do,
a bunch of cupcakes?
if I ever play on this map, I drop a Nexus in my opposing player's Raise Natural, and I expand there. And then I cannon it
Yep.
vigorously.
Yeah.
I defend
Not
it
much they
with
can do
my
about that.
mind.
That's pretty sweet. You need to show me that.
Oh, sweet. Get it? Get it? You made a pun.
Didn't know it.
All
Didn't
right,
know it.
so let's talk about the players here. So far, Bulletproof has shown that he is able to take a situation and basically stretch out his ability to live as long as possible. Very good
Hmm.
micro that we've seen. We're also seeing him harass the drone line down there just a tiny bit. Not quite Huck top 3 control style, but still pretty good, I think. Now, we do have the actually pretty similar build that we saw in game number 1 going down. Correct me if I'm wrong, but fast metabolic boost.
Yeah, 14 gas, 14 pool, and really that's just the standard because you'd expect that the Zerg would want to fast hatch on here, but he doesn't want to risk it. A forge first could easily happen. Of course, he has scouted out bulletproof, realizing, okay, it's a gateway first. But, you still always want to be safe. There's enough time for a Protoss player to drop down a forge, put 1 or 2 cannons, and just ruin your day.
That's true. And actually, I remember playing on the ladder one time. I had a Zerg player come and do a evolution chamber bomb on my natural. He put an evolution chamber at my natural. How
That's
offending
dirty.
was that? I
That's
was
dirty.
like, "What? You actually committed that much? Oh, that is
Yeah.
rude." And he let it die. He let it explode, and that was fine. But it was really freaking annoying. It's like it didn't really affect me that much because I was able to adjust quite easily. But I
Hmm.
felt like there was some rudeness attached to that I wasn't quite
Yeah.
able to deal with. How do you deal with
Yeah.
rudeness, Cricket, in a game? How do you deal?
Generally, whenever someone does something rude to me on ladder, I switch to six pool.
Okay.
If my pool has already been down, then I switch to 6 minutes ultras.
Oh,
It just depends on where my economy is sitting, really.
yeah. I feel like that you would really be in a good point at any stage in the game to go to a 6 pool. I mean, you can always just throw away
Yeah,
your drones down to 6 and then build
sure.
Zerglings. Is
Yeah, it's
that
basically
effect?
still
That's
six pool.
effective, right? It
Oh
works
yeah,
pretty well.
absolutely.
Okay.
Almost every situation.
Okay, good, good. So we have Rise heading out here, going to be capturing the watchtowers, pretty much just going for that early map containment that Zerg is basically able to do. Protoss, they don't have a way of getting out and countering that until they can move out with their little Sentry mini death ball, or as the ball grows larger and larger. I feel like Protoss, they play as if their ball was like a Katamari. Have you ever played Katamari Damacy?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's such a fun game. Basically, it's a game that you have this little character, you run around, and you collect objects into this ball, and you roll this ball until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, until finally you're basically able to roll over like entire buildings and stuff. It's really
Wow.
fun, and I feel like that's basically what Protoss has to do. You're playing a game of Katamari Damacy. Now, we have an expansion going down for both players. You see they're complete. We're going to see those drones transferring over as well. Do you have any predictions, since this is a little bit of a bigger map than what we saw in game number 1? What do you think Rise is going to be doing this time?
Well, we saw Rise basically just do a standard 14-14 into a 21 hatch, not really taking an early third. Of course, this map being so large, Zergs will almost always take an early third. He has the scout out front. He has the metabolic boost he needs. He knows that the Protoss is going to expand behind it, so he has a little extra time, and that's generally where that third comes from. Of course, mutas really work really well on this map just because of the mobility. Zerglings are almost a must. Generally, the composition is that Zergling and Fester because they're so mobile and this map is so large. You have to be able to defend certain harass styles. But of course, we saw Bulletproof try to harass a little bit. He has it in the veins. He wants to harass. It's just a matter of if he can sneak it by what Ryze is going to have.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that moving out a little early, we saw him pretty much just trying to get a couple of Zerglings, shoo those little pesky things away. But I feel like his ability to harass with these early gateway units is going to be rather limited, simply because of the fact that the map is very wide open. There's not a lot of really good spaces to tuck yourself into and force field around. And so we do have that robotics facility down. I would like to see him explore that tech here a little bit earlier than maybe we saw last game. Again, I don't really think that warp prism thing is going to work so hot this time. Although if he does it, I mean, it will, I think, have some effect because of the fact that that potential third there is relatively exposed. It's kind of poked out towards the Protoss base, whereas the Protoss or Protoss natural that currently exists is nice and tucked away. So kind of interesting how these maps kind of change the dynamics. You know, the Zerg player, he has to have a completely different mindset about where to expand than the Protoss because, like I said, if he took that third, it'd be pushing him pretty close to the Protoss third proper. I don't know, it's kind of wonky referring to these particular expansions because you've got the natural, but then you've got the real natural, and it's like I got nothing. I got nothing.
Right, right. And we see Ryze actually going for Spire. So he's going to go for that Mutaling composition that I talked about earlier. Going to be so fast, so mobile, and it's really going to be hard for Bulletproof to deal with this. Once you get those choice amount of mutas, they can basically roll over any turrets or, in this case, photon cannons that you may lay down. It's going to take a really aggressive Protoss player in order to force Ryze to have to keep majority of his units back home to deal with it. Of course, we do see Ryze throwing up a few more spines than he did last game until we approach that mid to late game because he knows he doesn't have much to deal a lot of damage. Now, Ryze actually didn't get an early third, but he is double expanding for his third instead. So he's waited a little bit longer, not snagging an early third, but fully saturating both bases. Now he's going to be double expanding on that third while Bulletproof gets a third of his own. And Bulletproof, of course, he might feel a whole lot more comfier this time. He was able to get his, of course, that natural a whole lot easier. He's getting his third a whole lot easier. Not much action has happened. It looks like they're just trying to build up their choice units, whatever composition they want to go for. It does seem like Bulletproof tends to favor this, just the old traditional gateway plus Colossus style armor. We see that first Colossus coming out. Thermal Lance only a quarter of the way done. So the sky is the limit so far for these players. We do see melee attack level 2 coming up for Ryze, and then Flyers attack level 1. So really, we're just kind of in a standstill. We have to see what happens next.
Yeah, we do have those mutas on the way. Getting back to an earlier stage of the game, I really would have liked to have seen Bulletproof go some kind of Stargate harassment. Given the fact that we now have a whole bunch of mutas on the field, I feel like that he would have been able to transition into anti, basically have just a nice little chunk of Phoenix there to deal with that, because these mutas are going to be so powerful. He had to have known, okay, the chance for air pressure very likely once he did that initial scouting, and we don't even really see any cannons back here. We do have one pylon at the back of the natural mineral line, but these mutas are going to be continuing to go around and be a problem. There are some cannons going down, so that is going to work out pretty well for him. Also, the extended thermal lance, that'll be great in dealing with the ground forces, but you see that cannon was taken out right there, and we're going to continue with the mineral line harassment. I do also want to point out that Bulletproof, for a while, actually was not producing probes. He kind of cut that there, even though he had about a 20 supply gap between what he had and what he could have. So I feel like, this Colossus, man. Oh no, you do not want to send that way ahead of your army. Oh, whew. That was scary, man. I'm trembling. I'm a little nervous. Hold me.
Okay, just give me a few days, and I'll be just a few.
Okay.
Bulletproof he's really waiting for that blink. He's like, I really don't want to have to waste money on those cannons. I want to make probes right now. I want to make gateways. I want to make an army. I don't really want to have to spend money in things that are going to just keep me at home. He wants to get that blink. That muta harass continuing to be a nuisance. If we check the workers killed, already 19 kills for Ryze so far. But now Bulletproof does have that blink. he might be a little bit more aggressive, but still, he cannot sit tight. There's the blink, blinking into the mutas, picking off a few of them, but Ryze not really worried about it. He's just kind of chilling there, saying, I'll lose a few mutas. You're going to lose a cannon and a whole lot more probes, though. So I think that Ryze is not afraid of blink, but now Bulletproof might feel a little bit more comfortable, thinking he has what he needs. And surprisingly enough, Ryze, 13 drones are being made, so he's just droning up behind all this harass. Very solid play.
Yeah, I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing right now, and the fact that the terrain lends itself so well to this muta harass. I do want to point out the hero zealot down here at the middleman. He has just been taking out one Zergling at a time, a true baller in the greatest sense. But with so many mutas here, I'm really not too sure what Ryze is going to be able to do about this for the next minute or two. He is trying to blink, and that's good, but that's only going to work so well considering the fact that the terrain is something that the Zerg player can really abuse. Different levels. You've got that giant crevasse there between those two bases, and of course you've got the Zerglings running around controlling midfield as well. It feels like a kind of a wonky situation for old Bulletproof here.
Well, and I feel like he just needs to go for it. He's wasting too much time. I mean, obviously the mutas are going to keep you at home, but at some point you have to say it's not worth it. We actually have the first kind of big engagement going in there. All the lings getting completely cleaned up, actually leaving the Colossus in the middle of the field after all the lings go down. What? Don't lose it! Don't lose it! Nice, snipes it. Bulletproof blinks forward. Of course, okay, so you took all the lings out, you lost a Colossus. It was a decent exchange for Bulletproof, but once again, he needs some proxy pylons. He needs zealots going for these expansions. He needs to spread out Ryze, because if Ryze is able to control this, how he has this so far, this entire game, it's the same thing that happened the first game is going to happen this game. Bulletproof, he's trying to make sure he doesn't supply block himself. I feel like he still needs more gateways for running off 3 bases. He should have more production facilities. But Ryze, so many mutas, gonna snipe out that Vespian gas with 29 mutas. Man, Bulletproof, he has to be aggressive. He cannot continue to play this passive against this mutaling style.
No, he can't, and this is exactly what Ryze wants. He wants this Protoss player to just keep sitting here and dealing with these mutas, and so far I'm really surprised we haven't seen any aggression from Bulletproof down at that base down here, kind of the half-natural on that elevated terrain for Ryze. That is just ripe for picking off. Just throw in some zealots, a warp prison like we saw in game number 1, and it would just work out absolutely beautifully. Yes, there's a lot of mutas here, but the more that you can keep those mutas back at main, then that's just the more time that you're going to have to go ahead and expand yourself. And now we're going to see the pylons start to go down here. Oh, will he cancel before? Oh, man. Just barely gets that upgrade in time. We could see that right there. But those mutas are going to be locked in the corner here for a little bit. They're going to take a few extra shots when they're on their way back out. Oh, but Bulletproof decides just to go ahead and pull them back here.
Ooh, and Bulletproof getting a... Oh, he gets a few mutas there. So Ryze, maybe not the best choice. He doesn't want to get him clumped up there. So that was a nice little pick for Bulletproof. Now he is about 50 supply behind. He is getting a lot of Blink Stalkers, and unfortunately, it looks like he is continuing his Colossus production one at a time, but Adrenal Glands is coming, Melee Attack level 3, Carapace level 2, 7 more mutas are going to be on the field. Ryze is continuing to stay maxed out. He's making some macro hatches. How many spines is that? That is 15 spines, if I was able to even select them all. So he is saying, hey, if you want to come at me, come at me. Ooh, and finally Bulletproof putting on some pressure, blinking into a lot of Overlords. But surprisingly enough, even though 10 Overlords just got shot down, Ryze not losing his any supply there. He already had more than enough Overlords to compensate for that. But finally, Bulletproof pushing out. This is the kind of aggression I wanted to see about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, he really needed to get out there earlier and do this. At this point now, he only has 2 Colossi, so that's still a decent bit. I mean, you're going to see those Zerglings kind of melt fairly quickly. But the problem is they're not going to melt quickly enough to allow those Stalkers to really focus down those mutas. He's going to have some good unit control here. And he does have 2 Stargates on the way finally, so hopefully we'll see some Phoenix harassment here, basically taking out these mutas, trying to maybe pick off some Overlords as well. But that he could not ask for a better engagement right there with all those Zerglings just funneling into the force fields and now able to deal with those mutas. Will he be able to hold it off, though? Wow. Guardian Shield negating a lot of damage, and he holds his ground.
Wow. That is exactly what Bulletproof needed. Trying to actually get this 4th and a great army exchange. finally, the resources lost tab in Bulletproof's favor. That is exactly what he needed. He laid down some amazing shields, or force fields, and then, of course, the Guardian Shield denying a lot of the extra damage that the Mutas produce. Now, Ryze is on a lot of bases right now. We see him expanding almost half of the map. But if he continues to take losses like that, that's not going to be good. But of course, now Ryze, he has actually freed up some supply. 8 Ultralisks are on the way. Force fields are going to be useless. He needs a lot of Zealots to tank the damage. That might be the only. That might be his only saving grace, is if he gets some Zealots and even maybe some Templar tech. He needs those Archons. He needs something to tank damage from those huge claws that the Ultralisks have.
He does, man. That splash damage will really hurt. Now, with these mutas running around continuing, I feel like he might decide to go ahead and try to attack and poke around at the mineral lines a little bit. Maybe, again, trying to keep the Protoss on the defensive. Now that he has this new expansion, there's not too much he can do about it. Charging with these Ultras would be pretty difficult. They're going to feel kind of clunky running around with all these cannons everywhere and just basically getting funneled in. So we see him actually doing something very, very smart. I like this. He's deciding to go around the backside where we don't see a lot of defenses. The Protoss army is actually tucked away nice and tight into those warp gates. But the Zerg's like, oh, you know what, man? I don't give a crap. I'm just going to come into your base and nom 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 nom.
And this is a full commitment attack. This is, here is my army. Let's see, we'll roll with it. A lot of Zealots tanking this damage. Ultra's not able to do as much damage as they had hoped, but unfortunately the Ultra's finally getting a few good hits on the Stalkers. The Mutas are focusing down those Colossus, but a good blink from Bulletproof trying to clean up a lot of those Mutas. I don't know if Bulletproof is losing that much. Now Ryze is going to be reinforcing with 11 Ultras, but my goodness, Bulletproof holds once again.
He does, man. That was quite an impressive display. I think the part of it was the fact that those Ultras were running around. I don't know if you saw, but they were kind of running around stupid for a few seconds. You'd see one of them just kind of herp-derping around for 5 or 6 seconds, not attacking anything, going back and forth. I guess he's kind of confused. Do I want pizza? Do I want french fries? Do I want pizza? Do I want french fries? And that's pretty much just what we saw. Worked very well in Bulletproof's favor. But he did lose the cybernetics core. He's got it about 50% complete right now. So he's going to have to rely. You see, he's got the double void rays actually on the way. So, oh man, this could be very interesting. Kind of a wonky build here, but I like it. I like it. I mean, the void rays, once they get charged up, they're going to be able to annihilate the Zerglings, annihilate the Mutas, and also provide some of that heavy support fire that he's going to need to single target down those Ultras, which we see just so many of them running around the map.
Right, right, and we might actually have a big engagement here. I don't know if this is the best for Bulletproof. Oh, good, blinking back. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Zealot count that he did last time. He is trying to shoot and scoot a little bit and get in the choke, rely on the photon cannons a little bit. The Stalkers do blink back. More Zealots getting warped in. They do have charge. That's going to be great for tanking a lot of damage. Bulletproof not looking too shabby, but his supply is getting lower and lower at once Ryze continues to pressure. But I think Bulletproof is going to hold once again with some pretty good, actually great Colossus placement. The Void Ray's doing work. And man, he just, time and time again, he is like a sponge. He just continually absorbs all of this pressure. But just the reinforcement aspect, I think actually losing the Cybercore was great. I think he needs more Zealots as of right now.
Yeah, no, he did a great job, and I don't know if you saw the production tab, but we had 66 Zerglings on the way, and now, of course, we can see those running around, going to be annihilating those poor Zealots. Those Zerglings, of course, 3-3. They're going to try to focus down that Nexus, which is going to drop oh so quickly! Wow. And now it is a probe fiesta. Those Zerglings are just running around. That is the spoils of war that we are having right there, Cricket, and, of course, Ryze coming down, trying to pick off the Forge as well. Not going to be quite as effective because those Zealots going to be warping in, taking those Zerglings out very quickly, but leaving another expansion vulnerable to another attack. His economy is getting shut down right now. Take a look at it. He's got half the income of his opponent, 46 to 86. Ryze is pretty much, he knows he's in a great spot, even though, well, he has had his attacks thwarted time and time again.
Right, and Bulletproof maybe felt really comfortable after that last attack, but it just kind of showed itself. With 3-3 Lings, Adrenal Glands, the counters become that much more effective. This is never a good situation to have this many Lings in your main. Of course, the Zealots do have decent positioning. Bulletproof finally coming in to clean the remainder of these Lings up. But, I mean, Bulletproof is behind the upgrade game. He's been behind this whole time, and just denying that income for so long, taking out the 5th base of Bulletproof, That's a really big deal when we get in this late game. Ultras are going to continue to press in with the Corruptors. I don't know. Is Bulletproof going to hold one more time?
Oh man, there's so many corruptors here. I think they're going to take out the. I think they're going to take out the Void Rays, but I'm going to say he might be able to hold one more time here.
Oh, the Manor Changelings from Rise. I think Rise, he has the game, but man, Bulletproof holding time and time again. He held that attack. He just finished it off. But man, if he just had more zealots, he keeps reinforcing with stalkers. But man, I think if he would switch that to zealots, he would have been able to tank a whole lot more damage, keep those Void Rays, the Colossus, everything else alive a whole lot longer. But we see Bulletproof starting to wither away. And he actually held that attack off, and he was under 100 supply doing that. That is impressive.
That is very impressive. Now, he is warping in some Archons, which I think is a much,
Yeah.
much needed unit at this point. Poor guys don't have any shield upgrades right now, but that is okay because they are there to do that excellent splash damage. Of course, they have extra damage versus biological units as well, which is pretty much everything that we see here. Fungal going down, taking out a lot of the forces there. You see those Archons dropping as well. There goes the big bulk of the firepower. And now we are going to see Bulletproof in a really wonky situation. Those Infestors are pretty much just going to seal the deal. There's one Dark Templar in there running around trying to score his first kill, and the Zerg is just like, no, I can't take it. Ah!
Yeah, we actually have Rise pushing back. Of course, Bulletproof with 39. There's the GG. Well played and good luck. So Bulletproof holding time and time again. It was unreal how well he was able to just absorb damage like the sponge that apparently he is. Rise continued to throw stuff at him, finally being able to overwhelm him, which actually just counters. It was never an army, a huge army on huge army. Bulletproof always won those, but it was just finally those counters taking out the economy of Bulletproof, and he just couldn't hold on.
That was a very exciting game indeed. Now let's actually talk about the tournament here for a second. Can you give us some information about where people can find out basically how they can follow the games?
Yeah, sure. This is QuickWeb's 8-player tournament. QuickWeb is the sponsor. He has sponsored $200 for this tournament. I actually invited the players, and of course, Bulletproof and Rise are two of those guys. Basically, 150 goes to first place, $50 goes to second place. And how this is all working is, Anaris, I'm going to give you a link, if you can put that in the description of this video, to the Team Liquid thread that I have going on. So this is round 8. So there's a round 4 and, of course, finals that are waiting to be casted. And what's happening is I'm actually casting with a bunch of different casters. We have Force Strategy Gaming already casted with him, Squiggles casting with him. There's going to be some on my channel as well, co-casting with those same guys. Want to give a huge thanks to Anaris for letting me come and cast these for his channel. And so basically, you'll go click the link, and you'll be able to click the links to those games, and it'll send you out to those YouTube channels from different casters. So it's kind of a really cool caster cooperative program that is kind of being established here. So that's going to be how the tournament runs, and as the games get casted and get uploaded, they're going to be updated on that TL thread. So you'll be able to get a lot of different commentary styles. Of course, I'll be in majority of them co-casting along with great guys like Anaris, but that's basically how this tournament is operating.
Excellent. And I understand you also have a YouTube channel, Sir Cricket. I would suggest people that go subscribe to that. You will find the link in the video description as well. Do you have any final thoughts, final things you'd like to offer regarding anything in the world?
Anything in the
all?
world. Anything.
Yes.
Well, I would first, of course, like to offer you a cupcake. I feel like Bulletproof got way too many cupcakes the first game, and I feel like I just want to personally give you one. That's it, man.
I may or may enjoy sugar highs.
I hope you may.
Possibility.
I hope you do.
I do. Well, excellent.
It's for you, so.
Excellent. And I do want to point out here at the very end that Rise has placed a nice little wall of changelings up here at the top of the Protoss main ramp. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this game. I think it's getting ready to rain here, which means we're going to have to shut off the internet and cut the power to the entire neighborhood. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, Cricket.
Take it easy, Anaris.